Navy Fed Go Biz Business Credit Card, $25,000 limit. Truist Bank Business Credit Card, $25,000 limit. Business line of credit, another $30,000 limit. Amex Gold Business Credit Card, over $50,000 credit limit. How much would your life change if you had over $100,000 to invest in yourself and grow your business? Well, I remember before I had over 6 figures in business credit, I was stuck in a bad place. Working my 9 to 5, making just enough money to pay my bills, but not enough to do much more after that. Out of frustration, I remember I would max out my credit card, spending a little bit of money that I had just to buy materialistic things that I thought would make me happy. To be honest, I probably didn't wear either one of these more than 3 times, and they didn't make me happy, and they definitely didn't make me any money. I mean, I was just trying to find some validation in working so hard and never having much left over to show for it, thinking that impressing people with expensive clothes and things would make me feel like I was winning. But in real life, I was still broke, and I was digging myself into a much deeper hole with a bunch of bad financial decision making. I still remember being late on my rent, but making a bunch of excuses to my building manager because I had just spent all my money on clothes, going out, and sports betting. And this brings us to the first phase of the formula to financial freedom: changing your mindset. If you think buying material items and a bunch of liabilities is the ultimate goal, then you're never going to secure a real bag, whether you wind up getting business credit or not. And once I sat down and truly realized this, my entire perspective changed. So I thought to myself, how about instead of going to the mall to spend my little check and going broke every other week, how about I go broke and trying to buy assets like real estate or starting a business? Man, I figured I could at least give it a try. I had already hit rock bottom. Now that I had the right mindset and was ready to lock in, the next phase of the financial freedom formula was to get my personal credit right. My score was like a 590 at this time. As I said, I was just overspending on things left and right, and I found myself in about $6,000 worth of credit card debt, and my utilization was damn near 100%. And I had 2 late payments on my credit from missing a few car payments. Like I said, I was just wilding and making very bad financial decisions. When it comes to the credit aspect, to keep it all the way 100, this is just something that you have to work on piece by piece and try to make a little bit of progress every day. This is going to require patience and discipline. And these are 2 concepts that are going to be very crucial throughout this entire journey. So at this point, I hired a credit repair company to work on those late payments as I worked on the debt. Now this is where the discipline comes in, because all that money I was spending on clothes, going out, and gambling now had to all go to paying down my credit card debt. So if that meant me putting my last $300 or $400 from my paycheck all towards my credit card debt and leaving me completely broke, so be it. In the long run, I knew it would be well worth it, because this will help me get more personal and business credit to fund my next move that I was going to make. Plus, if I did get in a real financial emergency, I still could use the credit that I just freed up by paying it off. Now, this is a key concept to remember. If you're in credit card debt, don't just keep your money in the bank account sitting just to say you have it. You need to put it to work. And if you are putting all your money towards paying down your credit card debt, you're never really broke, because you're just freeing up more access to capital just in case you ever really need it. And in the meantime, this will free up your utilization, which will in turn increase your credit score. I mean, really, it's a no-brainer. So after a few months, I was able to cut down my credit card debt to about $4,000 by doing this. And we made a little bit of progress with the credit repair as well. By this time, my credit score was in the mid 600. But there was only so much debt that I could pay off just from my 9 to 5 check. I would need more cash flow if I wanted to get out of this hole I dug myself. This is when I came up with an idea that I knew could help me with this. And that was to start a business on the side so that I could create more income. And this is the next phase of the formula. A business will give me the opportunity to make more money on top of what my 9 to 5 was paying me. So the first thing I did was start the process of forming and structuring my LLC. Now, you may be familiar with forming an LLC, but the process of structuring it is actually building the foundational aspects of a business to make sure that it looks legitimate in the eyes of lenders. I talk about this concept more in depth in this video here and inside my Ultimate Business Credit Playbook, link in the description. But one of the most important aspects of structuring your business is actually opening a business bank account. So much so that some lenders won't even recognize your business as being formed until you open a business bank account for it. And this is where the sponsor of today's video, North One, has got you covered. North One is an online business banking platform designed to help small business owners just like myself take control of their cash flow. And unlike most physical banks, it's super easy to start. You can literally open up a FDIC insured deposit account in less than 5 minutes. And you never have to step foot inside of a busy branch. Plus, one of the most fire features of North One is their automated budgeting tool called envelopes. Envelopes makes it really easy to make sure you always have the cash you need for upcoming business expenses, because the automatic budgeting tool literally sets aside a portion of your income specifically for that expense. And on top of that, 𝗪𝗲𝗯 can sync with your QuickBooks account to automate your accounting, so now you can chuck the deuces to manual data entry. Plus, 𝗪𝗲𝗯's super transparent and affordable with their pricing. 𝗪𝗲𝗯 customers only pay a flat fee of $10 per month, plus there's no hidden fees. This includes free ACH transfers, no overdraft fees, and free deposits at over 80,000 locations and 2 million ATMs. So if you're ready for 𝗪𝗲𝗯 to easily manage all your business finances, check out the description below, because everybody who uses my link will automatically get $10 credited to their account as soon as they open and fund a 𝗪𝗲𝗯 account. Let's get it. So now that I have my business formed and fully structured, I was ready to start trying to generate some extra income to try to get out this personal debt and get my credit score up. The first businesses I decided to start was renting my car on the Turo platform, as well as helping other new entrepreneurs with the LLC formation process on the side. And to my surprise, I actually started making more than $1,000 per month extra on the side just by doing this. I mean, I literally remember waking up for the first time to phone notifications letting me know that the money from my business was being deposited in my bank account. I was amazed because I was literally making money in my sleep without having to drive 2 hours to work or waiting every other 2 weeks just to get paid. Now I was starting to understand how having a business could generate you more cash flow while still working your 9 to 5. Man, this changed my entire perspective on how I thought I was able to make money. So over the next few months, I was able to get my credit card debt down to $2,000 and about 20% utilization. I was feeling good about the progress I was making, especially with my side business making money. But then something happened that I never accounted for: business expenses. I realized I would have to pay for the maintenance up front for the car that I was renting on Turo. This meant oil changes, tires, and even a set of brand new brakes. I even started racking up expenses in my online business. I needed to pay for my virtual office, website hosting, a new printer, and even a brand new laptop. Now, I did have some credit on my personal credit cards now that I had paid off a big chunk of that balance. But if I used the credit that I had just paid off, it would pretty much put me right back in the same place that I was at when I first started trying to make money, which pretty much was up to my neck in debt, struggling to stay afloat. It got to a point where I literally considered quitting the businesses I had just started while I was still ahead. I remember just sitting on my couch thinking to myself that I had failed and there was no way that I was ever going to get financially free. I mean, I was already broke before, but now I had multiple businesses to try to keep afloat and even more responsibility. All I could think about was working in that cubicle for another 30 years, struggling trying to survive, living check to check. So what was I going to do now? Give up on a little bit of momentum that I was building, or go back into debt trying to take my businesses to the next level? Thinking about this made me just feel even more depressed. So I actually decided to reach out to one of my boys and talk about what was going on. He also had some businesses, so I thought maybe he had run into this issue before as well. So we linked up and just talked about everything that was happening. One thing we definitely agreed upon was that we didn't want to rely on our 9 to 5 solely just to try to get by. Once I told him about some of the successes I was having, but even more about the struggles that I just started facing, he actually reminded me of a key concept that I had lost track of. And that was being patient and disciplined on my journey. And also looking at the world as a business owner and not just an employee. See, once I started making a little bit of money with my businesses, I thought all my problems were solved and I started to rush the process. And I also wasn't thinking like a business owner. Instead of using a balance on my personal credit cards to pay for business expenses, I could use what they call business credit, which is specifically made for helping business owners like myself. Mostly because it allows you to pay for the things that you need for your business up front without hurting your personal credit score, because the debt doesn't show on your personal credit report since it's in your business name. But how could I get business credit with a business that I had just started that year and a credit score that wasn't perfect? Well, remember a few months ago when I had first started the business, I also opened up a few bank accounts to keep the money organized. I didn't know it at the moment, but I had been building trust with these banks by having accounts and products with them and consistently using their services. This is called relationship banking. Over the last few months, I have been using a personal bank account, my 9 to 5 direct deposits, and a business bank account at institutions like Navy Fed, all while paying down my debts and getting my credit score together. This meant that the bank and I had started developing a good rapport, and they might be a little bit more lenient in giving me some funding for my business operation. And because I had started putting any extra money to paying down my debt and hired that credit card company to get off those late payments, I also started to see a positive impact on my overall personal credit score. I was now around a 680, so I figured to myself I could at least give it a shot and try to get some business funding. So I started this process with Navy Fed because I had been with them for some time with both my personal and business accounts. I applied for their Amex More Rewards card on the personal side, as well as the GoBiz business credit card on the business side. To my surprise, the day after I applied, they literally gave me $7,000 on the personal credit card, and within a week of applying, they approved me for a whopping $25,000 of business credit. Man, I was speechless that this had really worked. But I also went ahead and ran this same play with banks like Truist, Bank of America, and KeyBank. I had never in my life had access to this kind of money all at once. Just a few months ago, I was dead broke with a terrible credit score. Now, not only did I have businesses providing me extra income, but I also had access to over $100,000 to invest back into the business and into myself to get me to the next level. Since then, I've leveraged that funding into more cars for my Toro fleet. I've literally bought more than 8 cars in my business name over the last 2 years, including a Tesla Model 3. Plus, since Navy Fed was lenient enough to give me such a high approval amount on my personal credit score, it also decreased my utilization, which in turn had another positive effect on my personal credit score. This helped me get just over a 700 credit score, and I was starting to feel like I was in a much better place financially now. I had extra income coming in from my businesses, so I wasn't so reliant on my paychecks from my 9-to-5. And the combination of increased cash flow plus still working a 9-to-5 helped me get approved for multiple real estate properties that also now pay me extra income every month. This entire process made me feel a lot freer and way less stressed in my life. And I realized that the formula to financial freedom had come full circle in my own life. Number 1 was the mindset change. I now was only spending money on things that made money first and not materialistic stuff. 2 was taking my credit seriously, paying down my utilization, as well as hiring a credit repair company to take care of any bad marks on my personal credit report. Number 3 was starting a business. This allowed me to make money faster and then leverage business funding to invest it and make even more money. And this is the same formula that you can use to get out of a bad financial situation and change your life for the better. Even though the formula is simple, it's not easy, and it's definitely going to require patience and discipline, bag chaser. But if you want it bad enough and stay locked in, I know you can do it. So if you are ready to learn how to start your business and get over $20,000 in funding for it, make sure you watch this video next.